Hey guys, welcome to this short edition of Let's Be Blunt with Montel. My guest today is the founder and CEO of the Humboldt Seed Company. He's an expert in creating new strains and has been breeding cannabis and working to restore rivers and salmon population in Humboldt County for over 20 years. He's got a deep-rooted affinity to Humboldt County and is literally one of the thought leaders, one of the industry leaders when it comes to ensuring that we have efficacious genomes in our plants to make sure that we're providing the best, most efficacious medication we possibly can. His company is selling seeds all over the world, and hopefully we'll be selling them near you real soon. Nathaniel, thanks so much for being a part of Let's Be Blunt with Montel, sir.
Absolutely. It's been amazing.
Hey, look, this is your opportunity to flip the coin on me or flip the pages on me and ask me a question. What do you want to know?
Montel, I'm curious, when was the first time you really got into cannabis? How old were you?
I got to tell you something. I'm a child. I was born in the 50s, so I'm not going to date myself the exact date, but I was born, and I'm a child of the 60s and the 70s. And so if you go back to the 70s, early 70s was probably my first experience with cannabis in high school and junior high school. And then, I joined the military and I went away from cannabis for almost 20 years, stayed away from it, didn't touch it, got tested, didn't want to go to jail. So I stayed away from it. And it wasn't until I started my talk show that I literally got back into it and didn't even understand that I had gotten into it, because percolating inside of me was a illness that when it finally reared its ugly head, then I realized why I had been reaching out for something that was making me feel better than the opioids and things that I was actually taking. And so I jumped in with 2 feet back in 1999, 2000, and haven't looked back. I've been involved. A lot of people don't know this, but I came out and opened up about using cannabis back in 2001, 2002 on my television show, and talked about it long before it was vogue for anybody to talk about using cannabis and be honest with the public about it. And back then, back in 2002, I was searching out high CBD laden plants back then to see if I could mitigate some of my symptoms of MS, and worked very hard to make sure that what I learned, I shared with as many people as I could, and made sure that research got out there. I became an advocate and started going around the country advocating for medical marijuana laws, medical cannabis laws in multiple states all over the country. Back before, we had the 35 states now that we have, or 39 states that we have now. I probably worked very, very closely and worked with, back then it was DPA and also Marijuana Policy Project, MPP. I was working with them in 2001, 2002 in Connecticut, Ohio, all over the country. I testified in California multiple times about expanding access for patients. And so this has been now a part of my life for really the last 30 years and will remain a part of my life for the next 30.
Yeah. Well, I think that the way you just summed it up, there's a lot of people that have probably had a similar journey. And I just, I think it's really brave when people, as you said, kind of come out about their cannabis use. And so thank you for sharing that.
No, absolutely, sir. I think that's what we need to have more of right now. That's what I try to do through Let's Be Blunt, is try to reach out to people that, I'm reaching out to some celebrities that people know are cannabis users, but I'm also reaching out to those that they don't know are cannabis users and trying to get them to share their truth so that people understand that this is not something that's so foreign. This is part of what we are as vertebrates on this planet. So we may as well do what nature wanted us to do, and that's use a medication that it's put on the planet. I was talking to somebody a couple of days ago and just discussing the subject, what we don't get, and I think what most people don't understand, if they are science believers, well, Albert Einstein said for every action is an equal and opposite reaction. Well, maybe cannabis is that equal and opposite reaction to some of the detrimental things that are taking place in our lives. So thanks so much, Nathaniel, for being a part of Let's Be Blunt with Montel. I want to make sure people tune into our 1-hour edition where you preach some gospel, my friend. And I want them to make sure they listen in, okay? And I want to have you back whenever you want, okay?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You take care of yourself. And thanks so much for tuning in to this edition of Let's Be Blunt with Montel.